Let's be real. Building software today is complex. It's not just about writing brilliant code anymore. It's about juggling teams, tools, and processes, and trying to get them all to sync up perfectly. But a lot of the time, they just don't. So let's dive into how professional teams are trying to solve this puzzle. So does this picture feel a little too familiar? You've got your code living in one system, your project tasks and tickets in a totally different one, and your deployment scripts, well, who knows where those are. You're trying to build this high-speed superhighway for development, but what you've actually got is this messy patchwork of slow, disconnected roads. And that friction, it's a huge drag on getting things done. We call this the modern development maze. It's where good ideas get lost. You know, where context switching drains your energy, communication falls apart between tools, and your developers end up spending more time wrestling with their setup than actually building cool features. For any serious team, that kind of inefficiency is just not going to fly. And this is exactly where Bitbucket steps in. Atlassian didn't just build another place to dump your Git repositories. They designed it from the ground up to be the solution to all that chaos. Think of it as a complete DevOps hub, built to pull your entire workflow together, all the way from the first idea to the final deployment. So just to be super clear, what's the difference between Git and Bitbucket? It's a great question. The best way to think about it is like this. Git is the raw, powerful engine. It's the core version control system that does the heavy lifting. Bitbucket? That's the control center you build around that engine. It's the dashboard, the collaboration tools, the automation, everything that makes that powerful engine truly useful for a whole team of people. You know, Bitbucket's backstory is actually a great lesson in adaptation. It didn't even start with Git. Can you believe that? Back in 2008, it was built for a different system called Mercurial. But then Atlassian bought them and saw which way the wind was blowing. They smartly added Git support in 2011 and eventually went all in on Git. It was a huge strategic pivot that really cemented its place as a powerhouse in modern development. Okay, so this brings us to one of Bitbucket's biggest strengths, making teamwork on code feel totally seamless. It's all about adding structure and clarity to the whole process. A huge part of that structure comes from using a solid branching model. And Bitbucket has built-in support for workflows like GitFlow. This model is all about bringing sanity to chaos when you have multiple developers working at once. You've got your super stable main branch, that's what's live. Then there's a develop branch for staging new stuff. And all the day-to-day coding, that happens in separate feature branches. It keeps everything clean and organized. So, how does new code get from a feature branch into the main code base? Well, it all happens through something called a pull request. And this isn't just some technical command. It's really the beating heart of collaboration. It's the moment a developer raises their hand and says, hey, my work is ready for review. It kicks off the whole conversation, the code review, and the automated checks before a single line gets merged. And you can think of that pull request process as your team's quality gateway. Bitbucket lets you set up merge checks to enforce your team's rules. So you can say, hey, this code can't be merged until at least 2 senior devs have approved it. Or block this merge if any of the automated tests have failed. You can even require every single pull request to be linked to a Jira issue, which means no random code ever gets in without a clear purpose. It's your automated gatekeeper. But look, modern DevOps isn't just about people collaborating. It's about smart automation. Once that code is reviewed and approved, the job's not over, right? It still needs to be built, tested, and shipped. And that's where Bitbucket Pipelines comes into play. And for anyone who's a little new to the term, CI/CD just stands for continuous integration and continuous deployment. All it really means is automating that whole journey, from the moment a developer commits a change all the way to it being live in production. It's about making that process fast, safe, and repeatable. The key thing here is how ridiculously simple Bitbucket makes this. You don't need a separate, complicated CI server to manage. You just add one single file to your code repository, this bitbucketpipelines.yml file. And right there, in plain text, you just define your steps. Run the build, run the tests, deploy to staging. That's it. It's CI/CD as code living right next to your application code. So simple. Okay, now we're getting to what is, I would argue, Bitbucket's greatest strength. It's an absolute superpower. It's deep, native integration with the rest of the Atlassian ecosystem, and especially with Jira. This is the feature that elevates it from just a code tool into something much, much more. Just look at how simple this is. A developer finishes up their work on a bug. When they commit their code, all they have to do is include the Jira issue key, right there in the commit message. In this case, it's Jira 123. That's it. It's a tiny, effortless action that takes zero extra time. But the result of that tiny action, it's huge. Instantly, automatically, Bitbucket links .code commit directly to the Jira ticket. Now your project manager, your designer, your QA tester, anyone looking at that Jira ticket can see the exact code that fixed the issue without ever leaving Jira. The wall between the planning world and the development world just crumbled. So when you put all these pieces together, the collaboration, the built-in automation, and that incredible integration, Bitbucket stops being just one tool in the chain. It becomes the unified command center for your entire software development lifecycle. But you might be wondering, which version is the right one for you? Well, Atlassian gives you two main options. First, there's Bitbucket Cloud. That's the software as a service version. It's all managed by Atlassian, so it's perfect for teams that want to get up and running fast with zero maintenance headaches. Then you have Bitbucket Data Center. This is the self-hosted solution, really built for big companies that need total control, deep customization, and rock-solid availability on their own servers. So let's wrap it up. Why choose Bitbucket? Well, it's pretty clear, right? You're getting an end-to-end DevOps toolchain all in one place. You're getting the enterprise-level security and governance that serious teams need. You're getting CI/CD built right in, no extra tools required. And maybe most importantly, you're getting that deep Jira integration that gives everyone on the team visibility that other platforms just can't touch. At the end of the day, Bitbucket acts as that critical bridge, connecting the world of planning that happens in Jira with the world of coding and deployment. It helps your team build, test, and ship better software faster. So the real question is, could your team use a bridge like that?